You have probably seen people fighting about MCP versus API. One side says MCP changes everything. The other side says we already have APIs. Why do we need a new thing? In this video, we will settle this properly. What MCP actually is, where it sits in your application, and how does it compare with APIs? And in the second half of this video, we will answer the confusions people usually have about MCP, starting with the biggest one. Why do we even need MCP when API docs already exist? Let's start with what we already know. An API is how two programs talk to each other. And let's make it concrete right away. Say you have written program A that needs to read messages from Slack, and Slack is our program B here. Slack exposes an endpoint, which is just a URL, something like api.slack.com/messages. Your program sends a request to this URL, and Slack sends back a response with the data. This is basically how API call works. It's very clean and predictable, and for normal software, this is perfect. Now, here is the important reality for API calls. You, the developer, build each of these API integrations. You also usually write the rules for when each API should be called. When a deploy finishes, call Slack's send message endpoint. When someone asks for yesterday's messages, call the history endpoint. If this happens, call Slack. If that happens, call Jira. In most production cases, your app won't talk to just Slack. Your app might talk to 10 services: Slack for alerts, Gmail for email, Jira for tickets, Notion for documents, your own database for user records, and 5 more like them. For each one of those 10 services, you write the same kind of logic for every app you want to talk to: the authentication, the API calls, the error handling, the retries if API call fails. Now, let's upgrade program A. Imagine you add an LLM to the application, so that the application can think and reason about the situation. Instead of you deciding every case in advance, the model can look at a situation and decide what to do. This sounds great, to be honest. And here's the secret that makes everything else in this video easier. The model does not directly make the API call. The model tells your application what action it wants, and your application, normal software outside the model, performs that action. So what actually happens is this. Your application will feed the information to the model. Here are the things that this application can do for you, like send a Slack message, create a Jira ticket, query the database. The model reads the situation and writes back a message. Please call the Slack endpoint, channel on call, text the payment service is down. And then your application logic, normal code written by you, actually makes that API call. The model says what to do, and the app executes the actual API calls. Basically, situation hasn't changed at all. You still wrote all 10 API integrations by hand. Adding the model did not remove any of the API calls. The model now decides which call to make, but you still built every single API call. Now imagine your org builds a second app, a chat support app for customers, also powered by an LLM. The support model reads a customer's chat and decides things like, this one needs a Jira ticket, that one needs an email reply. This support app needs to access the same 10 services all over again. So your team writes the Gmail integration again, the Jira integration again, all 10 of them, for app number 2. So for the first app, you wrote 10 API integrations, and for the second app, you again wrote 10 API integrations. 2 apps times 10 services. That is 20 piles of integration code your team is writing and maintaining. And when your org builds a third app next year, it becomes 30 API integrations. So here's the question that led to MCP. What if nobody has to hard code these API calls into every app? This is how it will work. Each of your apps gets one standard piece called an MCP client, and each service, Slack, Gmail, Jira, Notion, your database, gets a small program sitting next to it called an MCP server. The MCP client and the MCP server speak one common language, so any client can talk to any server. Now count with me. 2 apps means 2 MCP clients. 10 services means 10 MCP servers. 2 plus 10. In our simple example, that is roughly 12 pieces to build instead of 20 separate integrations. And the third app next year, it simply reuses the same 10 servers. You just add one more client. And honestly, in practice, it can be even better, because for popular products, the MCP server usually already exists. Slack, for example, builds and hosts its own official MCP server. But for your own database or your internal tools, Your team may still have to build that server yourself. And even the client, most teams get it from an AI framework instead of writing it from scratch. Let's zoom in to one of these MCP servers. One server can offer many actions. So this server will announce that I can offer sending a message, reading a channel's history, and searching old messages. And now pay attention to this detail, because this is the part people get wrong. The MCP client inside your app connects to each of the 10 servers and asks what actions are available. This is called discovery. The app then shows that list of actions to the model, and the model chooses which action fits the task. You no longer have to hard code every decision. The model can choose from the actions that your application allows it to use. You hand the model a labeled toolbox and let the model pick. Let me walk you through one complete round trip, so there is no magic left anywhere. A customer writes to your support app, "My payment failed twice." The support app takes that message, plus the list of actions it discovered earlier from all MCP servers, and sends all of it to the model. The model reads everything and writes back, "Run the Jira action, create a ticket, title, payment failing, priority high." Remember, the model just wrote text. Nothing has actually happened yet. The app hands that request to its MCP client. The client sends it to the Jira MCP server. And the Jira MCP server is the only piece that actually talks to Jira. It calls Jira's normal API, the same API that existed all along, and the ticket gets created. Jira answers with the ticket number. That answer travels all the way back, from MCP server to MCP client, and then to the application, and lands in front of the model as plain text. The model reads it and writes the final reply. "I have created ticket 42 for the payment issue." Now notice who did what. The model only decided and replied. The client and the server carried the messages, and Jira's own API did the real work, exactly like it always has. That is the whole trick. So, does MCP replace APIs? No, it doesn't. If your system already has an API, the MCP server sits in front of that API as a translator, and your API stays exactly where it is. So MCP is not a replacement for APIs. MCP is a common AI-facing layer that can sit in front of APIs. Now, let's get to the confusions I promised. The argument that I get all the time is, why do I need MCP at all? I already have the API docs available. I can give my AI agent the OpenAPI spec, and the agent can figure out which API calls to make, right? And it is a good question, because you actually can do this, and it will work. But there are some advantages if we use MCP server. To understand those advantages, we will give both approaches the exact same task, and see exactly where MCP provides the advantage. So the task is that our team has a Slack channel called Incident. We want an AI agent to fetch yesterday's messages from that channel and write a short summary. A human would do this in 1 minute. They'll open Slack, find the channel, read the messages, and summarize. Now let's watch an AI application do the same thing. But before we compare anything, remember the secret from the first half. The model cannot make an API call. The model only writes what it wants. Software outside the model has to pick up that request and actually do it. The software that actually makes the API calls needs a name, so let's call it the execution layer. We are calling this execution layer because it executes whatever the model asks for. Keep this term in your head, because both approaches in this comparison, API docs and MCP, are really just two different ways of building the execution layer. Approach 1, the direct API route. We give the agent two things: Slack's full API documentation and a sandbox. This sandbox acts as a locked room where the agent can run Python code. We have our Slack credentials available inside this sandbox. Now trace it with me, step by step. Step 1, the model reads the docs. Slack has hundreds of API methods. We dump the whole API specification into the model's context so that it knows what code it needs to write to call APIs. Step 2, the model writes Python code. And this is where the little problems start showing up. Slack's API does not understand the name incident channel. It wants a channel ID. So the code first looks up the channel to grab its ID. Then the code calls Slack's message history API. Then it converts the word yesterday into the exact time format Slack expects. And the messages that come back are full of raw user IDs, so the code may need to turn those into readable names too. One Python script, but underneath, several API calls chained in the right order. Step 3. The sandbox runs that script. The clean messages come back to the model, and the model writes the summary. So did it work? Yes, completely. For one application, this is perfectly fine. But notice, the agent wrote the code. Your team set up the credentials. Your team runs the sandbox. And when the script or sandbox breaks, your team fixes it, not the model. That is a real Slack integration, and somebody has to maintain it. Your application can save that code and reuse it in future. But the moment a second AI application needs Slack, your team has to decide, share this integration somehow, or build it again from scratch. Now, let's see approach 2, and we use MCP this time. We do the same task, but this time, we do not hand the agent any documentation. We connect the application to a Slack MCP server instead. Think of the MCP server as a ready-made execution layer sitting in front of Slack. The server already understands Slack's API, and it offers the model a short menu of actions written for AI applications. Search for a channel, read messages from a channel, search messages by date, send a message. The model sees the menu, and it picks the action that matches. In this case, model just selects, read messages from a channel. The MCP server does the rest. The channel ID lookup, the time formats, the pagination, the authentication. The server hands back clean, readable messages, and the model writes the summary. Our model never touched a low-level Slack API method. And here is the difference that matters. All the Slack-specific knowledge now lives in one reusable piece, the MCP server. So let's say the difference plainly. In the direct approach, the model reads documentation, and your own custom code, written partly by the agent itself, is the execution layer. In the MCP approach, the model reads a menu of actions, and the MCP server is the execution layer. Now, you can argue, and people do, that the direct version can also be shared. Build one internal Slack service. Put it in front of all your applications. Done. And that is a perfectly valid design. But notice what you just did. You invented your own private format for describing actions, sending requests, and returning results. MCP is that same idea, except the format is public, and compatible AI applications already speak it. Why would you design something that is already available? It's like designing your own database when ready-made solutions like Postgres already exist. Which brings us back to the original question. Why not simply give the model the OpenAPI spec? You can. And now you know exactly what that gets you. It educates your agent about the available API calls, but it does not build the execution layer. You still need the software that holds the credentials, makes the request, handles the failures, and hands the result back to the model. You can absolutely build that yourself. What MCP gives you is a standard execution layer. There is a second difference. The question you need to ask yourself is who the OpenAPI docs were written for. Raw API methods are written for developers. It has a lot of granular details about small actions that developers need to chain up to get results. An MCP server can wrap all of that into one action with a clear name. And when Slack changes an API method underneath, the hosted MCP server gets fixed in one place. You don't have to dump new API method again to your AI agent. And one more. OpenAPI only describes web APIs. Your local files, your terminal, your database. No OpenAPI document exists for them. All of them can have an MCP server. 2 honest warnings before we finish. Because MCP does not solve everything. First, context cost. And this can affect both approaches. API documents can be very large, so loading all of them can fill the model's context and use many tokens. MCP can have the same problem if the app loads every action from every connected server. Newer AI apps can now search for the right actions and load only the ones needed for the current task. This saves tokens and leaves more room for the actual conversation. Second, API keys. API keys are like passwords, so the model should never see them. Execution layer outside the model stores the keys and uses them to connect to the service. MCP can support login, permissions, and approval before a risky action runs. But developers still have to set up those protections correctly. So when do you use which? If you are building one application, calling a few API operations you already know, a quick experiment, a one-off task, a direct integration is completely reasonable. Same if no useful MCP server exists yet, or the one that exists does not offer the action you need. Plenty of teams run secure, reusable, direct integrations without MCP, and that is fine. MCP starts paying for itself when several AI applications need the same systems. And remember, MCP gives the model no new abilities. Everything underneath is still normal APIs and normal code. What MCP gives you is a standard. And a standard is what lets 10 applications share one execution layer instead of building 10. So here is the one-liner for the next time someone asks. The AI model never executes the API call. The execution layer around it does. You can build that layer yourself for one application. Or you can use MCP when you want a standard layer that many AI applications can discover and reuse. For one application, a direct integration can be simpler. When the same capabilities need to serve many AI applications and many systems, that is exactly what MCP is for.